As we approach this season, there's a lot that has been going on with Thanksgiving and Turkey Day and Black Friday sales. We can approach the season full of busyness. We can approach it with a different mindset. And my hope for today is that we can see what is the attitude or demeanor that we're to approach Advent with. And so I figured we would do a little breaking the ice here for a sec. And I'm going to give you my unofficial list of the top 9 or 10, I can't remember, Christmas gifts of 2010. Now, this isn't official. This is kind of stuff that I feel like is a Christmas gift. And if you feel led or inclined to purchase one of these or more for me, I would be totally fine with that. I wouldn't be mad at you. But the first one is this new little device called the Xbox Kinect. Now, I don't know if any of you play video games. I mean, I really don't play that many video games. So people that might play video games would like this, so to speak. But basically, you become the controller. And so now instead of a controller like, you yourself are the controller. And I've heard rumors that like when you plug it in, it says, "Welcome, Dusty." And I'm like, "Oh, welcome. Could you do the laundry?" Now, I don't know how we can do Rock Band on that one, so we're going to figure that out. I'll get back to you. Here's the next one. We've got the iPad that so many people are clamoring for. Parents, if your children tell you, "Oh, it's so I can study better," they're lying. It is a toy. It is a big toy. One guy said that it's basically an iPod for the Incredible Hulk. I was like, yeah, that makes sense because big hands, green. Okay. All right. Don't make me angry. Now, this is the phone. For those of you that think I'm an Apple biased person, this is a Sprint HTC Evo. This is a great phone. And actually, I feel like I'm on an infomercial right now. Actually, it has Angry Birds for free. So that's always a plus, and so that's a really good phone. There's a little kickstand, the silver thing, where you can watch movies and do math homework and stuff like that. Next one is the 4th generation iPod Touch. They say that it actually cook, clean, and do the dishes for you, as well as everything else. And I'm lying there again. Here's one interesting gift. This is the Barbie 3-story Uber mansion. Yes, there we go. We have one for here, and I guess Barbie doesn't need there's the elevator. We've got the kitchen and stove and living room and the bedroom, of course, and the Barbie hot tub. And so Ken not included in this set for the year. All right, next one. We've got the Amazon Kindle. I think this is version 3. And you can read books and newspapers. And now I was thinking about this because how do you become a hand model? Have you ever thought about that? Like, oh, you have great hands. You should be a modeler of those hands. I don't understand. I don't think I could do it. Never mind. Okay. Next one. All right. This is interesting. For the small price of $60,000, you can have a replica built of Legos for you, dimensions and all. So this is in real size. This is maybe Ken and Barbie a couple years down the road. But for $60,000, you can make a Lego portrait replica statue of you. I'm thinking, man, that's a lot of Legos. I don't know about you. So if you have $60,000 laying around, why else? Buy Legos, right? And gobstoppers. Here's another one. For the small price of $500,000, you too can have the end zone from Texas Stadium in your backyard. I mean, what else would you do with $500,000? You say, "Hey, come over and let's sit in my end zone while we watch TV." So for the small fee, you could have the Cowboys end zone in your backyard. If you decide on doing this, come talk to me after the service. We'll have to have a special prayer service for you. Last but not least, my favorite of the season. What everyone needs is a singing Justin Bieber doll. Definitely accompanied with the best version of Baby, Baby, Baby that you could ask for. And he has his own chair. I have a feeling I'm going to get one of these from somebody, but I just figure it's funny. I mean, because I wonder if his hand constantly does his hair back the way. All right, just wondering with the mangs. We get so caught up in gifts and gift giving during this season. I love getting gifts. I look back over my life, my long 29 years with mahogany shelving and leather-bound books and things like that. And I remember my Atari. I know many of you haven't heard of that before. I remember my Nintendo Entertainment System, a.k.a. the NES. 8-bit graphics, comes with Super Mario Brothers and this little game that revolutionized my life called Duck Hunt. With my baggage from web-footed creatures, I was able to take out my aggression on the screen and actually shoot ducks. So I've never been real hunting, but if you give me a pistol for duck hunt, it's over. That's all I'm saying. I remember those Cabbage Patch Kid dolls. Do we still have Cabbage Patch Kids? okay, those don't look right. Something's weird creepy about the Cabbage Patch Kid. I'd have one in my room and it's like looking at me. I'm like, what are you looking at? What do you want? And he's like, I want cabbage. What do you think I want? Or I remember, all right, we got some people in the back. Yeah. I remember when Tickle Me Elmo came out. You remember that? Now, why in the world, sorry, I'll get to important stuff in a sec. I'm just talking. Why in the world would we go stand in lines to get a little red guy with an orange nose that just has like a creepy laugh from a horror movie when you tickle it? And then I heard that they were like a short circuit in some of them, and he just started laughing in the middle of the night. That would freak me out, okay? I'm just saying. Or I remember a couple years ago, myself and Micah, we slept outside of Costco. It was freezing outside when Xbox 360 came out. We slept outside. I probably got a whooping cough or pneumonia, and just to get this Xbox 360. But on the flip side, I love giving gifts for Christmas. Do y'all remember in elementary school when they had the little Santa's Village and students were able to go buy gifts for their parents? Is that still around today where you can go purchase gifts for your parents? It was so cool because you could buy them like pencils and Trapper Keepers, and like Capri Suns and all kinds of little special Christmas gifts. And I would buy my parents these gifts from Santa's little workshop place. But the problem was, on Thanksgiving, I'm trying to give them the gift. I love surprising people with gifts. I love giving them early. I love getting something totally off the wall or random. I love the idea of getting to give gifts. And this season, I feel as though that we could possibly miss the meaning of Christmas if we focus on the Black Friday sales, and if we finally get the 40-inch TV that was $399.97 at Best Buy but survived the stampede of people trampling over us, and if we focus so much on the shopping and the gift giving, we could miss what God had in mind all along. Today, I feel that there's a special gift that's offered to us during this Advent season that comes through the person of Jesus. And it's a gift that we all want. It's something that we all need. It's something that we all long for. It's something that will truly make the season meaningful. As we talk about Advent, I'm instantly reminded of those beautiful calendars called an Advent calendar. I don't know if we still have those around, but as a celebration of preparation for Christmas, like on December 1st, you would open the little door and you get a piece of chocolate. And then on December 2nd, you would open the door and you get a piece of chocolate. And it was horrible chocolate, by the way. But my Advent calendar, for me, Christmas was like on December 5th because chocolate was gone, and it was a way to really count down the days until Christmas time came. And Advent is all about, it's one of the church seasons that we celebrate on the church calendar. Many of you know about how we celebrate Advent, we celebrate Easter, we celebrate Pentecost, and how the ebb and flow of the Christian life was really lived through this church calendar, has been celebrated for many, many centuries. And during this Advent time, it's a time of expectancy, it's a time of hope, it's a time where we're longing for the coming of Jesus, to where in a world that can seem full of despair and full of chaos, that can seem hopeless, we're able to place our hope in the coming Messiah, that there is a new kid in town born in Bethlehem, that we're able to sing about this and place our hope in that. And that's how we frame our mind, our frame of reference for this Advent season. And so my challenge today for us and for myself is, how do we embrace the fullness of Advent this year? As our pace goes up, as our schedules are more and more busy, as there's more and more gifts to buy, more and more presents to open, more people to go see, more meals to cook, more Christmas lights to go watch and look at, how do we not miss the true meaning of this Advent season? How do we position ourselves and posture our hearts in such a way that we can see what did God intend for us and how did God intend for us to remember and to celebrate the birth of Jesus? I love that in Isaiah we read about what's going to happen, what's going to come about when Jesus comes on the earth. And this many, many years ago, this was prophesied for him. It's actually Isaiah 9:6, if you're following along. For some reason, I put in the totally wrong verse. So to us, a child is born. To us, a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Here we see the prophet Isaiah foretelling the coming of Jesus. And one of the names that he gives for Jesus is the Prince of Peace. Out of the many names that we see throughout the scriptures that are given to Jesus, this is one of my favorites. This and another one that we'll celebrate, Emmanuel, meaning God with us. And here the name ascribed to Jesus is the Prince of Peace. When you hear the word or see the word peace, what image might come to mind? What if it's a word picture, if there's a word picture on your heart for the word peace? Or maybe there's a situation that comes to mind. Maybe when this was going on, there was this peace. Or maybe when this wasn't going on, this reminds me of peace. Maybe there's a specific location that when you're at this place, you experience peace. Maybe it's your Walden or your backyard or on a river or on a stream or in Delaware, on the top of a mountain, whatever it might be where you experience peace. Maybe you have a study, maybe somewhere that only you can go and you experience peace. Peace is something that we all long for. It's something that we all hope for. We have this ache within us for peace. It's something the whole world desires. That we all share this in common, is that we were created for peace. The writers of the scriptures, they had this idea of shalom. Whenever we see the word peace, this is what is coming to mind. And from the beginning of our story, we see that shalom was involved. And it wasn't so much a peace of not having conflict or the absence of war or feeling as though everything is okay. Shalom had to do with the goodness of God invading the entire person, the totality of who we are, a wholeness involved. And that shalom was how the world was formed. It was how the world is ordered to be around the goodness of God being on earth as it is in heaven. And so out of shalom, we see God spoke the world into existence, spoke man and woman into existence. And that in the garden, as he walked with man and woman in the cool of the day, that there was this shalom, there was this peace, because the goodness of God was seen in heaven and on earth. And so we can look at situations and scenarios in our world today. We can look at people that you come in contact with and that are in your family, they're in your work, or that you're at school with. And you can see that the absence of shalom breaks our hearts. It creates us this ache within us. It creates this longing within us. And we have this feeling that it's all isn't quite right. And so when Jesus comes on the scene, as we celebrate Advent, he came as the Prince of Peace to bring peace into the world. And so this holiday season, I would just maybe want us to ask ourselves some questions as we see, how do we not miss this season? If Jesus comes into the world as the Prince of Peace, how do you and I experience this peace? 3 really questions that I'd really like for us just to focus on today, maybe this week, maybe the entire holiday season. 3 questions to say, if I follow in the ways of the Prince of Peace, then I should really process and ask these questions. First one, am I at peace with myself? Are you at peace with yourself? We have this desire within us, and when we're not okay, we experience this tension. I love how one writer says that faith is the courage to accept acceptance. That it's the courage to accept the fact that I am accepted, that you are accepted. Sometimes it's a lot easier for us to love others than it is to love ourselves. Did you know when Jesus issues the great commandment, and he says, the first one is this, is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength. And the second one is this, to love your neighbor as yourself. So here Jesus is assuming that we are loving ourselves well, and that we're able to be okay and at peace with ourselves. I love how John Ortberg says it in his latest book, The Me I Want to Be. He said that the purpose of spiritual formation, the goal of spiritual formation, is for you and I to become the best versions of us that God created us to be. And I love that. Say, you to become the best version of you that God had in mind when he breathed life into us and made us in his image. To be okay with ourselves. I think another question we have to ask is, are you at peace with your God? Are we at peace with God? Are there open lines of communication? Is there time? Is there a way that our hearts can be attuned to his heart? In the same way that God said, David is a man after my own heart. For it to be said of us that we were people after the heart of God. I love the lyrics of a Sarah Groves song, and it simply says, how is it between us, Lord? How is it between us? When have I talked to you last, and what has happened since? I think that just says it just brilliantly, for us to be at peace with God. It's so easy for us to feel that God is is upset with us or disappointed with us, or we could have lived this year better, or we could have done this or not done that. And God is a God of peace and wants for you and I to be at peace with him. And then I think another question we have to ask is, are we at peace with others? And I don't know about you, but I'm okay with processing through the first two. But when we get to this one, I'm like, oh, I don't want to go there. Don't know if I want to go there because I've got this friend or this coworker or this boss who makes me fill out TPS reports and come in on Saturdays, and I've got these people in my life and circles that it's not the way it used to be, and it never can be, so peace isn't possible. But truly, peace can be possible. Peace can be something that estranged family member or that person that you thought you could never forgive, it could be possible that as we celebrate the birth of the Prince of Peace, we could go and usher in peace in their lives. So how is your mindset? What's your demeanor? What's your attitude as we approach the holiday season? Maybe you haven't even thought about it yet. Maybe you're still putting up leftovers and putting on Christmas lights on trees and getting ready. Maybe you don't have the headspace to think through it. But I challenge us to pursue a mindset of peace. Peace could be the greatest gift that you possibly receive this holiday season. And peace could be the greatest gift that you possibly give this holiday season. And so as we think through and process through those thoughts, this idea of peace, it's mentioned over 400 times in our scriptures. We see that Jesus, everywhere he went, he was bringing about peace. That he would have interactions with people, that he would be tested, that he would preach messages and tell stories, and he was all about bringing God's shalom to earth.